This time what we're going to do is work with leftover chicken and see what we can do in terms of making additional meals and things out of what we have left over from, say, if we had roasted chicken, made stock out of it. Now what do we do with the chicken that's left over? I'm going to start by taking some of these thighs and legs and getting some of that meat, and we're going to make a nice chicken noodle soup and make use of some stock that we made when we broke down a whole chicken. There's lots of combination of light and dark meat here, which we want a little bit of both for flavor and texture. So I'm going to take the chunks of chicken meat off of these thighs and legs, pile them up on my cutting board, and I'm going to give them a good chop since they're going to go into soup. When working with knives, the best thing to do is to use your fingertips and form a claw like that so that you can be running the blade of the knife down the face of your fingers. Because if you take your hand and spread it out like that, like some people will tend to do by habit, what you're doing is waiting for the inevitable time that you cut off the tip of your finger. So always form a claw, run the face of the knife up against the flat part of your fingers, give that chicken a good rough chop. Now I'm going to saute some onion, carrot, and celery in some olive oil. We're going to start with just a little bit of olive oil because we want to saute our veggies until they clear just a little bit. Put a little bit of olive oil in our soup pot. Heat that up under medium heat. We're going to add our carrots. And celery. And chopped onion. And we'll stir that around and saute those veggies until they get partially cooked. And that actually was probably going to take a total of 5 minutes or so. And how you season the soup can be pretty much up to you depending on how much seasoning you like. When I roasted the chicken, I put salt and pepper on it when we roasted it. So it already has salt and pepper, so I'm not seeing a real reason to be adding more. But you can add a little more salt and pepper if you'd like, or possibly some dried or fresh herbs. And then once the vegetables are getting nicely sauteed, we're going to put in our chopped up chicken meat. Give everything a good stir. And now is where the magic happens. We made a really nice rich chicken broth with the carcass of the chicken that we cooked previously. And that's going to be the base for our soup. I'm going to pour in the chicken broth. And turn up the heat. I'm going to bring it up to where it's just about boiling. once it's boiling, we've got some just plain dry egg noodles. And it's going to be a classic chicken noodle soup, just like Mom used to make. Okay, we have our soup base up to temperature. We've got a nice rolling boil. And as I said before, we used chicken stock that we made from the carcass of a chicken that we'd already fabricated. You can also go to the store and get chicken stock and buy containers of chicken stock, and that's even easier. It's just that when you make your own chicken stock, it's much more economically viable. It costs just a fraction of what you'd pay for store-bought, pre-made chicken stock. So we're going to throw in a couple of cups of noodles, dry egg noodles. And I'm going to let that continue at a low boil until the noodles are done. And then we'll have soup in about 10 minutes. Okay, we've had our chicken noodle soup simmering for about 10 or 12 minutes. We wait until the noodles are nice and tender. And we can now turn off the heat. Now remember, I did use some homemade chicken stock, and when I say stock, I just mean chicken broth, which you can buy at the store, either in a can or a rectangular container. It's far more economical to make it yourself, but you can buy it at just any grocery store. And so what we have is an inexpensive, easy to make, and very delicious chicken noodle soup.